Hello and welcome to the fifth video in the playlist of averages from a frequency table. In this video I'm going to show you how we can work out the mean from a grouped frequency table. So that looks very similar to the last video. We're still talking about the time, and it's grouped from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and then the last one 40 to 80. Now to find the mean from this group frequency table, normally when it was a normal frequency table we would have done our number times by frequency and then had a frequency times age column and then added them up. But here we don't know what our number is that's in this column, so we need to make an estimate of what number we should use for this column. Now the best way to think of an estimate is to choose the midway point between the two limits. So between 0 and 10 we'd have the midway point of 5, and do the same for each one of these. To make it nice and clear for you, and when you come to do examples of these in your books, I want you to draw an extra column next to your table that's got a heading of midpoints, so we can write down our midpoints of each of these intervals. So my midpoint between 0 and 10 is 5. My midpoint between 10 and 20 is going to be 15. My midpoint between 20 and 30 is going to be 25. Then my midpoint between 30 and 40 is going to be 35. And then the last one you need to be really careful with, and I'm going to write it in a different colour for it to stand out, but between 40 and 80 my midpoint is going to be 60. So be very careful if you see a group that's got a wider gap. So here we've got a gap of 40 rather than a gap of just 10, so my midpoint is going to be slightly different how I work it out. So now we've got an estimate for our number that's in this group, and we've got our frequency. I need to now do 5 times 8 to get my estimate for the amount of people that took between 0 and 10 seconds. So I've got 5 times 8 to give me 40, then I've got 15 times 10 to give me 150, 25 times 14 gives me 350, 35 times 16 gives me 560, and then the last one, my 60 times 13 gives me 780. Then I need my two totals, which I'm going to end up dividing to work out the mean. So if I work out how many people were asked in this question, so my total for my frequency column is going to be 8, add 10, add 14, add 16, add 13, which gives me 61. And my total for my total times taken, 40, add 150, add 350, add 560, and add 780. That gives me a total of 1,880 seconds. So now I've got my total, and I've got how many we've got. So I'm going to do my total divided by how many we've got. So my mean is 1,880 divided by 61, which gives me 30.82 when I round it to 2 decimal places. So my mean from this frequency table is 30.82 seconds. I've also included a how-to list similar to my previous videos, just going through the steps of how to work out the mean from a group frequency table. The first one, I'd like you to draw out the tables in your books. Please make sure that you leave enough room to draw those extra 2 columns for your midpoint and your midpoint times the frequency columns. Then I need you to find the frequency total. Then you need to draw that extra column for your midpoints and work out your midpoints of those groups, making sure you're really careful, especially if the group sizes change. The fourth step is to draw that extra column for your midpoint times your frequency, and then you need to find the total of that column, so the total of the midpoint times frequency column, and then you're going to do the total of that column divided by the total of your frequency to find out your mean, and then I'd like you to round your answers to 2 decimal places. Thank you for watching.